Hi, this is Karma Spence, author of Public Speaking Superpowers, with this week's public speaking tip of the week. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about prompts and how to use them. Now, in today's technologically savvy day, prompts are usually a PowerPoint presentation. But I'm not going to talk about that today because I want to talk about different kinds of prompts, physical, three-dimensional objects that you use to illustrate a point. Now, back when I was in high school and I was competing in public speaking, there was a specific rule about props. For example, you couldn't come in with your prop. The prop had to be brought up and put away during your speech, which is something you can do, but because in the public speaking world you don't have to follow the rules like that, you can be creative. For example, if something you're illustrating has something to do with something you're wearing. So for example, you come up on stage wearing a trench coat, and then you take it off during your speech to reveal this fancy outfit. That is a use of props, as long as it's appropriate. But basically what you want to do with props, so for example, let's say you're an author of a book. For example, I have my book here, Your Perfect Pie. When you're talking with your book, you want it to be close to your face and you want to hold it here for as long as possible. Now, this is not my tip. I learned this from Jill Lublin. And the reason why you do this is it associates the book with your face with the book. Therefore, you as the author become associated with your book. Also, by leaving it up here long time, people will really get an idea of what this book looks like, so that when they see it on a bookstore shelf or on Amazon.com, they will recognize it, and they'll know that they saw it with you. See? Facebook. There you go. Now, let's say that you are giving a toast at a wedding. Now, you might not think of this as a proper use of props, but when you're giving a toast, you're almost always holding a glass. Now, in this case, I'm holding one of my Dragon collection mugs. And what you want to do is, while you're talking, you want it to be held up so that people know that you're giving a toast. And then you will give your toast, and at the end, say something like, "I'll drink to that," and then drink from it. Hold it back up again, hold it down. So that is a good use of props. The prop was never in the way of your face. You want to hold it kind of down and out so that people who are near you can still see your face while you're giving the toast. And you only bring it up to your face at the appropriate moment. Now, another kind of prop that you can use could be a visual aid, something that illustrates something you're talking about. Now, let's say that you're going to give a speech about dogs, and you're going to talk about specific breeds of dogs, and therefore you want to show pictures of these breeds. And you didn't put them up on a PowerPoint presentation, you actually want to show pictures. Like this one. This one happens to be a painting that my mother did of my little girl Sprocket. But you see, again, like you do with the book, you hold it up high enough so that people can actually see it. You want it to be bold enough so that they can see it, and you want it to be held up long enough so that they can understand what they're seeing. Now, of course, these are all very small props, that I did today, and those would not be appropriate from a big stage. Those are probably more appropriate for like what I'm doing now with a video. And you'll notice also that all these props were small, so they could fit into the video frame. So these are the few tips that you can use for props. Number one, make sure that the prop that you're using is appropriate. Two, you want to make sure that you hold up the prop long enough, and it may seem a little bit longer than you think it would feel like, but hold it up long enough so that people can really engage with the prop. And then put it away so that people will again have their attention back to you and not the prop. Also, think about the venue that you're doing, the venue that you're giving your speech in. You want the prop to be visual, be visible to the people farthest away from you. So in a video like this, I can use small props. But if I were in say a room of 30 people, my props would need to be larger. And on a stage, you're probably not going to use props too much. You're probably going to use visual aids from like a PowerPoint presentation that is on a big screen behind you. If you would like your question about public speaking answered in a future video tip, please submit them following these instructions.
Get your question about public speaking answered in a future video. You can post a comment on this blog post below. You can submit a video response to this or any video in this series. Or you can leave me a voicemail message at 815-642-4092. And remember to mention your website so you can get some link love in return.
This is Karma Spence signing off. I'm the author of Public Speaking Superpowers, and I hope you really enjoyed this week's Public Speaking Tip of the Week.